Out of clutter, find simplicity. From discord, find harmony. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Every screen, every thought, every demand pulls the mind away from itself. The Stoic understands that the greatest struggle of the modern age is not against time or circumstance, but against distortion. Clarity is no longer a luxury, it is survival. When the world moves without pause, the disciplined few step back, not to escape it, but to see it clearly. The mind that learns to see without interference gains a strength beyond force. Clarity turns confusion into direction, emotion into precision, and chaos into rhythm. It does not silence the world, it silences the unnecessary within. Once this silence appears, perception expands. The Stoic begins to notice the structure beneath the noise, the opportunity hidden inside difficulty, the calm that has always existed beneath anxiety. The power of a clear mind lies in its ability to recognize what others miss. Every act of greatness begins with this return to focus. The Stoic learns that a single moment of true clarity is worth more than years of movement without understanding. It is the point where motivation aligns with wisdom, where purpose replaces panic. To clear the mind is to reclaim control of perception, to remove the fog that weakens decision and dulls meaning. Through discipline, solitude, and reflection, the mind becomes transparent. Nothing hidden, nothing wasted, everything directed. In this stillness, strength takes form. Clarity is not cold detachment. It is awareness sharpened to exactness. It is the ability to walk through life without losing yourself in its motion. This is where peace begins, where power matures, and where the Stoic sees that the quietest mind often carries the greatest force. Clarity begins where noise ends. The mind that is filled with interruptions, grievances, and endless comparisons loses its ability to see reality cleanly. The Stoic learns that confusion is not a condition of the world, but of perception. Every event is neutral until the mind labels it, judges it, and reacts. To clear the mind is to remove the fog of unnecessary interpretation. It is to look upon life without distortion, to perceive without attachment, and to act without hesitation. The mind becomes crowded by unchecked thoughts. Each memory, expectation, or opinion demands space and energy. The Stoic understands that thought must be managed as strictly as action. To think clearly is to filter what deserves attention and what does not. Clarity does not mean having no thoughts. It means allowing only the disciplined ones to remain. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The Stoic refines this by ensuring that only thoughts aligned with reason are allowed to persist. Mental clutter forms through indulgence in trivial matters. Each distraction, conversation, and impulse leaves residue on the mind. The Stoic learns to detach from excess information and emotional noise. To clear the mind, one must observe the patterns that repeat without purpose and cease feeding them. Silence becomes the filter through which truth passes. In silence, the mind resets, just as the body rests between exertions. Discipline creates this silence. A clear mind requires restraint from overreaction. When external chaos rises, the untrained mind mirrors it. The Stoic remains still. External disorder becomes irrelevant when the inner order is firm. Clarity is born from this stillness, where reaction ends and perception sharpens. The Stoic's calm is not weakness, but control. It is the ability to stand amid storms without losing internal alignment. The Stoic learns that peace cannot be found by removing difficulty, but by maintaining clarity through it. Every situation tests one's internal discipline. The untrained mind interprets difficulty as threat. The disciplined mind interprets it as training. Through adversity, The Stoic cleanses the mind of illusions about control. Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the things themselves, but from our opinion about them." In this, clarity means seeing events as they are, uncolored by preference. The mind collects illusions from comfort and attachment. Desire attaches meaning to possessions and outcomes. When desire dominates, clarity fades. The Stoic cleanses desire by questioning it. What is truly needed and what is decoration? When the unnecessary is removed, peace remains. The uncluttered mind sees the difference between what is vital and what is vain. This discernment is the essence of Stoic clarity. The mind must be trained to return to the present moment. Memory drags the past forward. Imagination projects the future backward. Both cloud perception. The Stoic learns to stand within the current moment as the only point of power. Clarity lives where time dissolves, where one sees and acts without burden. To live with a clear mind is to engage with what is real, not with echoes or predictions. Stillness is not an absence of activity. It is the precision of directed energy. The Stoic's stillness is movement without waste. Every decision, word, and motion is deliberate. This conservation of energy creates strength. A clear mind does not scatter its attention. It channels it. In that channel, action becomes efficient and peaceful. When the mind is clear, even simple acts carry depth and dignity. Clarity also requires honesty. The mind deceives itself through justification and selective memory. The Stoic confronts truth directly. Self-deception is a fog thicker than confusion. The Stoic clears this by self-examination, by reviewing thoughts and motives without vanity. Each reflection cuts through illusion and restores proportion. The disciplined mind is transparent to itself. Mental clarity begins in environment. A disorderly space invites a disorderly mind. The Stoic arranges surroundings as a mirror of discipline, clean, functional, purposeful. Order outside reinforces order inside. Yet true clarity survives even without perfect surroundings. It arises from consistent awareness. The Stoic trains the mind to remain ordered regardless of circumstance. The body and mind function as one system. Physical neglect blurs thought. The Stoic treats health as the foundation of mental sharpness. Simple routines, rest, breath, and nourishment stabilize the inner state. A clear body allows a clear mind. Discipline in one strengthens the other. When energy is stable, perception is accurate. Clarity cannot coexist with endless consumption. The mind that constantly absorbs information cannot digest it. The Stoic limits input to preserve discernment. Every piece of information must serve purpose. Random stimulation weakens focus. The Stoic values silence, reflection, and observation above noise. Each pause allows the mind to reset and select the correct response. Thought discipline requires deliberate intervals of solitude. In solitude, the mind observes itself. The Stoic learns to listen to the inner dialogue without judgment. Silence reveals the tone of one's thinking. If it is chaotic, one trains it. If it is calm, one maintains it. Solitude is the forge where clarity hardens into permanence. In solitude, distractions fall away, leaving structure. To clear the mind, one must detach from opinion. Public noise often corrupts private clarity. The Stoic refrains from emotional involvement in collective disputes. They remain aware, yet detached, informed, yet free. Clarity demands independence from crowd thinking. The Stoic's judgment remains guided by principle, not popularity. Public agreement offers comfort. Reason offers truth. Mental clarity requires perspective. Every problem feels large within the confines of reaction. The Stoic steps back. Distance shrinks false importance. When seen from above, urgency dissolves. The Stoic learns to elevate the mind until only essentials remain visible. Perspective cleans the emotional lens. The higher the view, the calmer the judgment. A cluttered mind confuses feeling with fact. The Stoic distinguishes between them. Emotion signals, but it does not define truth. The clear mind acknowledges emotion without surrendering to it. In this balance, control is maintained. Clarity does not suppress emotion, it organizes it. Emotion becomes a message, not a command. To sustain clarity, one must maintain routine. Discipline protects mental order from chaos. The Stoic keeps rituals that anchor focus, writing, reflection, and breath. Each ritual reinforces inner structure. The mind becomes predictable to itself, reducing uncertainty. Repetition strengthens calm. A stable mind thinks cleanly under pressure. Mental clarity also depends on humility. The Stoic accepts the limits of knowledge. Arrogance clutters thought with assumption. A humble mind remains open and adaptable. This openness is not weakness, it is alignment with reality. The Stoic prefers truth to pride, accuracy to comfort. In humility, the mind remains light and agile. The Stoic knows that speech shapes thought. Words must be chosen with care. Each careless word clouds intention. Each disciplined word refines it. Clarity in speech mirrors clarity in mind. When language is precise, thinking follows. Seneca wrote, "Speech is the mirror of the mind." The Stoic polishes both with restraint. Mental order requires discernment between control and acceptance. Confusion arises from resisting the uncontrollable. The Stoic divides the field of thought into what can be directed and what must be endured. This separation eliminates wasted energy. When attention is focused only where it has power, clarity emerges naturally. The disciplined mind moves within its sphere with calm authority. Clarity deepens through detachment from approval. The Stoic does not rely on external validation for certainty. Public praise and criticism both distort perception. The clear mind remains centered in principle. When guided by internal standards, judgment remains steady. Dependence on external opinion breeds confusion. Independence breeds peace. Clarity also arises from the study of nature. The Stoic observes the natural order, its simplicity, balance, and law. The universe wastes nothing, it moves without excess. By aligning with this rhythm, the mind becomes ordered. Nature becomes the model for mental economy. Observation replaces speculation. Understanding replaces confusion. To clear the mind, one must let go of the past. Memory can become a form of possession. The Stoic treats memory as reference, not residence. Reflection is useful only when it informs action. Beyond that, it becomes burden. Clarity requires release. The present is always clean, the past is residue. The Stoic also learns to manage the future. Anticipation and anxiety both project illusions. A clear mind plans with precision and detachment. Preparation is made, fear is excluded. When the mind focuses on execution instead of speculation, energy concentrates. Clarity is a byproduct of direct action. The mind must also be cleansed of resentment. Anger distorts perception and enslaves attention. The Stoic neutralizes anger by understanding it as weakness of expectation. When one expects the world to conform, clarity is lost. Acceptance restores proportion. Forgiveness is not emotional generosity, it is strategic clarity. Clarity matures when thought becomes simple. Complexity is often a disguise for confusion. The Stoic learns to express and perceive with directness. Simplicity does not reduce depth, it reveals essence. Every clear mind seeks essence above ornament. Complexity without purpose is mental clutter. The Stoic cultivates the habit of pause. Between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space, clarity resides. Every decision made from stillness carries more accuracy than those made in haste. The trained mind waits without anxiety. The pause is not delay, it is precision. Through this pause, control expands. To maintain a clear mind, the Stoic limits emotional debt. Each unresolved conflict or lingering regret consumes attention. The Stoic resolves or releases. Mental space must remain open. Attention is the most valuable resource. It cannot be wasted on resentment or speculation. Each day begins clean when closure is practiced. The clear mind does not chase comfort. Comfort creates stagnation. The Stoic embraces mild discomfort as purification. Discipline removes dependency. When the mind no longer craves ease, it becomes clear under stress. Hardship becomes refinement. Each difficulty polishes perception. Observation is the foundation of clarity. The Stoic watches behavior, reaction, and thought without judgment. Observation converts chaos into pattern and pattern into understanding. The more one observes, the less one is controlled by impulse. Clarity is seeing the structure beneath appearance. Mental clarity is sustained through purpose. A drifting mind cannot remain clean. The Stoic defines purpose as alignment with virtue and reason. Every action measured by this standard simplifies decision. Distraction dissolves when purpose is clear. Direction replaces confusion. Purpose is mental architecture. To clear the mind, one must also clear language. The Stoic removes exaggeration, sarcasm, and complaint. These corrupt thought with distortion. Speech must reflect discipline. When words are exact, thoughts align with them. Each correction of language strengthens the mind's precision. The Stoic trains detachment from outcome. Expectation clouds perception. Action must be pure, independent of result. When one focuses only on execution, judgment remains unclouded. Clarity is born in this detachment. The Stoic acts completely and accepts completely. A clear mind does not depend on mood. The Stoic separates feeling from function. Whether in joy or grief, the inner standard remains. Emotional stability protects clarity. The disciplined mind performs regardless of inner weather. This constancy is strength. Mental clarity becomes permanent through repetition. Each day tests it, each night refines it. The Stoic measures progress by reaction time, emotional control, and consistency. Every lapse is instruction. Every recovery is progress. Through repetition, the clear mind becomes the natural state. When the mind is clear, perception deepens into understanding. The Stoic sees truth as it is, unshaped by desire or fear. This state is not mystical, it is disciplined realism. The world appears clean, events appear neutral, and choices appear obvious. From clarity arises confidence, not through emotion, but through comprehension. In the highest state of clarity, the mind ceases to seek peace. It becomes peace. The Stoic reaches this by continuous alignment with reason. Thought and action unite. No internal conflict remains. Judgment becomes natural law. Reaction becomes deliberate motion. The mind stands still within movement. Clarity is not an achievement, but a practice. Each day the Stoic clears the surface of the mind like dust from a mirror. The reflection becomes sharper, not because the world changes, but because the mind ceases to distort it. The reward of this discipline is simplicity, and through simplicity, strength. Conflict is the testing ground of clarity. When pressure rises, the mind's discipline is revealed. The Stoic learns that conflict does not destroy clarity. It exposes the parts of the mind still ruled by emotion. Under stress, Confusion grows quickly in the untrained mind. The Stoic meets this not with suppression, but with stillness. Each reaction is measured, each decision rooted in principle. Conflict becomes the forge where composure hardens into strength. The first rule of clarity under conflict is detachment from chaos. The Stoic separates the situation from the story. Conflict is not personal, it is mechanical. Events unfold, people react, and outcomes shift. The Stoic stands outside of this motion while acting within it. Clarity means observing without absorbing. The mind must remain above the turbulence, untouched by its noise. Stress distorts thought through urgency. The untrained mind confuses speed with control. The Stoic learns that clarity requires deliberate pace. Each pause restores proportion. The gap between impulse and response becomes the battlefield of mastery. By lengthening that gap, the Stoic converts reaction into direction. Calm becomes the weapon that disorder cannot disarm. Conflict feeds on attention. The more energy given to it, the larger it grows. The Stoic withdraws emotional investment and focuses on the controllable. Epictetus taught that what disturbs man is not the event, but his opinion of it. In this truth, the Stoic recognizes that conflict exists only as far as it is allowed to enter the mind. Clarity means keeping the gate guarded. When stress intensifies, the body demands reaction. The Stoic uses the body as signal, not command. Elevated pulse, shallow breath, tense muscles, all become reminders to slow down. Breath becomes the anchor. By mastering breath, the Stoic steadies the body and clears the mind. Physical stillness becomes mental sharpness. The disciplined breath dissolves confusion. The Stoic does not deny conflict. They face it directly, understanding that avoidance multiplies tension. Clarity comes from confrontation guided by reason. To face conflict is to practice truth. The Stoic observes patterns of escalation and chooses to interrupt them through restraint. Each moment of self-control weakens the hold of external disorder. Clarity under stress begins with precision of thought. The Stoic dissects problems into facts and interpretations. Facts remain clean, interpretations carry bias. By isolating what is real, confusion loses ground. The disciplined mind refuses speculation. It deals only with what can be known. This creates stability even in the heart of chaos. Every conflict exposes hidden ego. The desire to win, to be right, to dominate, all cloud clarity. The Stoic removes ego as the first act of strategy. Victory is not measured by dominance, but by control. When ego fades, perception clears. Conflict loses its grip when one no longer seeks validation through it. The Stoic acts for reason, not recognition. Under stress, people project their confusion onto others. The Stoic resists absorption. Emotional contagion is the enemy of clarity. The disciplined mind maintains its own climate. Whether surrounded by panic or anger, the Stoic remains internally neutral. This neutrality is not coldness. It is sovereignty. To remain calm when others lose control is to lead without words. Clarity in conflict demands hierarchy of importance. The Stoic separates what matters from what distracts. Every conflict offers 1,000 minor provocations. The mind must filter them instantly. Attention is preserved for what truly shifts outcome. This filtration is mastery. Precision is the antidote to overwhelm. The Stoic accepts that conflict is natural. It is not a flaw in life, but a condition of coexistence. Expectation of peace creates fragility. Preparation for conflict creates endurance. By training the mind to remain clear when challenged, the Stoic ensures stability under all conditions. What others call chaos becomes the Stoic's classroom. Stress often emerges from misaligned expectations. The Stoic maintains flexible standards, principles firm, outcomes negotiable. Control is applied only where it can function. When events diverge from desire, the Stoic adjusts instead of resists. This adaptability sustains clarity. A rigid mind shatters under pressure. A disciplined one bends and returns to form. Clarity under attack requires emotional neutrality. Anger obscures judgment faster than confusion. The Stoic treats anger as smoke from internal friction. It signals attachment. By tracing it back, one reveals misplaced expectation. Removing it restores vision. Each moment spent angry is a moment of blindness. The Stoic refuses that blindness. In argument, clarity means control of speech. Words released in haste become weapons against oneself. The Stoic delays response until speech aligns with intention. Silence is not weakness, it is precision in formation. When words are finally used, they strike with accuracy. Calm speech reshapes tension into structure. The quiet tone commands more than volume. When facing hostility, the Stoic studies the pattern of aggression. Every attacker reveals their own instability. Observation replaces reaction. To understand is to disarm. The Stoic's calm becomes reflection, showing the aggressor their own disorder. Without resistance, conflict loses energy. The disciplined presence transforms environment. Clarity under stress is maintained through purpose. The Stoic anchors each action in reason. When intention is known, confusion has no hold. Random emotion cannot command a mind aligned with purpose. Each movement, decision, and expression serves the higher standard of virtue. Purpose acts as compass when visibility fades. The Stoic practices foresight as defense. Stress decreases when prepared thought precedes action. Visualization of hardship reduces shock. By imagining adversity, the Stoic immunizes the mind against panic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive." In this reflection, anticipation meets gratitude, and stress loses its authority. Clarity is also preserved through perspective in conflict. The Stoic zooms out mentally. Each situation is examined within the vast frame of time and consequence. Most conflicts shrink under this lens. The mind that can view from distance cannot be enslaved by immediacy. Perspective turns tension into proportion. When faced with uncertainty, the Stoic chooses decisive simplicity. Overthinking breeds paralysis. Clarity demands action guided by principle, not endless analysis. Each decision cleanses the mind of speculation. Motion restores order. The Stoic values direction over noise. To maintain clarity under prolonged stress, the Stoic relies on structure. Routine becomes armor. Reflection, journaling, and deliberate solitude reinforce composure. Each practice resets the internal order. When external chaos persists, inner ritual maintains balance. The disciplined schedule is the architecture of clarity. Clarity under conflict thrives on detachment from reputation. The Stoic releases concern for image or opinion. Stress multiplies when one fights to preserve appearance. True strength needs no display. The Stoic acts cleanly and lets judgment fall where it may. Freedom from image is freedom from fear. In severe pressure, the Stoic reduces attention to essentials: breath, thought, movement. This reduction removes excess complexity. The mind cannot be clouded when only the vital remains. Through simplicity, endurance becomes natural. Complexity breeds collapse. Simplicity sustains control. Clarity requires consistent recentering. Stress will attempt to fragment focus. The Stoic restores it through brief internal alignment, breath, reflection, recall of principle. Each recentering moment is a return to power. Confusion cannot survive repeated discipline. The Stoic learns to view conflict as instructor. Every clash reveals a weakness within perception. Each exposure becomes refinement. Through this view, stress loses hostility. It becomes the environment of growth. The Stoic gains not comfort but capability. In personal disputes, clarity is preserved by remembering purpose. Resolution, not dominance. The Stoic shifts aim from victory to understanding. The goal is peace built on reason. Pride seeks to win. Wisdom seeks to end confusion. By pursuing clarity instead of conquest, the Stoic ends cycles of reaction. When insulted, the Stoic measures before responding. Every insult tests the boundary between self and opinion. A clear mind recognizes that insult harms only when believed. The Stoic chooses indifference. Indifference is not apathy, it is unassailable confidence. What cannot be provoked cannot be defeated. Clarity under sustained hardship depends on patience. The Stoic accepts time as ally. Endurance clarifies motive. When one holds composure through duration, false urgency fades. The mind becomes clean through persistence. Patience is strategic composure. The Stoic also guards clarity from fatigue. Tiredness corrupts reason. The disciplined schedule includes restoration. Sleep, stillness, and solitude replenish judgment. The wise understand that recovery is not indulgence, it is maintenance. The clear mind respects its own limits to preserve function. When faced with moral conflict, the Stoic returns to principle. Emotion debates, principle decides. Each decision aligned with virtue clears doubt. Moral confusion arises only when convenience replaces conviction. The Stoic sacrifices ease for integrity, and clarity remains untouched. In conflict with authority, the Stoic responds with reasoned firmness. Submission and rebellion both serve emotion. Reason serves clarity. Respect is maintained, independence preserved. The Stoic bends where wise, resists where necessary, and never loses the axis of judgment. Clarity becomes the shield that neither flattery nor threat can pierce. The Stoic sees that most stress comes from internal argument. The mind debates against itself. Clarity requires unity. Once reason decides, emotion must comply. The disciplined person does not negotiate with confusion. Decision ends internal conflict. Clarity grows when attention shifts from control to contribution. Under conflict, service to principle or duty replaces self-absorption. The Stoic acts outwardly through reason, reducing internal noise. Service purifies intention. When action benefits more than self, ego dissolves. In unpredictable conflict, the Stoic relies on simplicity of principle. What is right becomes the compass question. When this guides conduct, uncertainty ends. Right action cuts through complexity. Simplicity restores clarity. When surrounded by hostility, the Stoic draws strength from self-possession. Calmness unsettles aggression. The presence of discipline alters atmosphere. The Stoic does not mirror the world begins to mirror the Stoic. Influence without speech is the highest command. Clarity under conflict concludes in indifference to outcome. Once duty is fulfilled, tension dissolves. The Stoic understands that control ends at action, not result. This separation releases the mind from anxiety. When one does what must be done with precision, the rest follows its natural course. The Stoic who remains clear under stress becomes unshakable. Their perception no longer bends with emotion. Conflict cannot corrupt judgment. Pressure cannot distort thought. Clarity becomes composure in motion. The world becomes less threatening because the mind has become clean. True peace is found not in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of unbroken clarity. Solitude is the laboratory of clarity. In separation from noise, the Stoic learns to hear thought as it truly sounds. The modern world confuses activity with meaning, connection with understanding. Solitude strips away the interference. When the Stoic withdraws, it is not escape, it is recalibration. The mind, deprived of external clutter, begins to refine its structure. In silence, order returns. From order, focus grows. From focus, power emerges. The Stoic treats solitude as training, not withdrawal. In quiet, distractions dissolve, and the internal voice becomes audible. Every thought, belief, and reaction reveals itself under stillness. This exposure is the groundwork for refinement. Clarity cannot be borrowed from company. It must be cultivated in silence. The Stoic learns to sit without reaching for stimulus, to think without seeking approval, to exist without the mirror of others. In solitude, the mind becomes its own companion. Without conversation, attention turns inward. This inward gaze is not self-indulgence, but self-examination. The Stoic reviews motives, habits, and attachments with objectivity. Each moment alone becomes a mirror that reveals the architecture of character. Weaknesses are exposed, strengths are confirmed. Clarity grows from honest observation. Solitude resets emotional equilibrium. Social environments are full of projection, expectations, roles, and unseen influences. The Stoic withdraws to shed these layers. In isolation, emotion returns to neutral, thought returns to truth. What remains after the noise fades is identity without ornament. The disciplined person understands that solitude renews direction by eliminating distraction. A quiet space creates mental precision. The Stoic organizes surroundings for focus, simple, clean, without excess. The physical order mirrors the desired state of the mind. In that space, one reads, writes, studies, and builds skill. Each hour alone becomes an investment in clarity. What others call loneliness, the Stoic calls laboratory time. Solitude transforms time into resource. When free from distraction, each minute expands in value. The Stoic directs it toward deliberate improvement. Study replaces scrolling, creation replaces consumption. The mind sharpens when it is used intentionally. The Stoic learns that learning is a form of strength. Skill replaces stagnation. Purpose replaces restlessness. In silence, the Stoic reclaims attention. The world competes for it constantly through devices, conversations, and obligations. Attention, once divided, weakens clarity. Solitude gathers it back into one place. From this gathering arises deep work, the ability to concentrate without interruption. Deep work is the discipline of focus extended over time. In it, skill and understanding evolve faster than in noise. The Stoic uses solitude to expand mental endurance. Focus is a muscle, solitude is its training ground. Each hour sustained in undistracted attention strengthens capacity. The Stoic measures time not by duration, but by depth of focus. Shallow work exhausts, deep focus energizes. Through this repetition, the mind learns to hold one idea until it is complete. In isolation, reflection becomes precision. The Stoic writes as a form of self-dialogue. Writing organizes thought into structure. Structure breeds clarity. Each sentence reveals order or confusion. Through written reflection, the Stoic confronts cognitive errors directly. This confrontation replaces assumption with understanding. Solitude allows the Stoic to differentiate between thought and noise. The mind, when constantly stimulated, mistakes reaction for reasoning. Silence separates them. What remains after quiet reflection is genuine thought, intentional, reasoned, and clean. This thought guides future action with more accuracy than any counsel from others. True solitude does not require complete physical isolation. It requires mental independence. The Stoic can be among people, yet remain centered within themselves. This internal solitude protects clarity even in crowds. When external influence cannot penetrate judgment, one becomes sovereign. The world speaks. The Stoic listens selectively. Solitude sharpens perspective on relationships. The Stoic learns that clarity about others begins with clarity about self. Time alone reveals where dependence replaces discipline, where attachment clouds reasoning. In solitude, emotional autonomy is restored. The Stoic returns to the world less reactive, more balanced, and ready to give rather than seek. The disciplined use of solitude is what separates retreat from refinement. Withdrawal without purpose decays into comfort. Withdrawal with intent becomes mastery. The Stoic fills solitude with work that improves mind, body, or spirit. Reading philosophy, training the body, practicing craft, all transform isolation into elevation. Time alone is currency. The wise spend it deliberately. To clear the mind through solitude, one must remove internal resistance to silence. Many fear stillness because it reveals what has been ignored. The Stoic faces this with courage. Every discomfort becomes instruction. Restlessness exposes dependency on distraction. Anxiety exposes attachment. When these signals are understood, they dissolve. What remains is composure. Solitude resets emotional cycles. Stress accumulates through continuous reaction. In silence, the Stoic reviews past events with neutrality. By understanding patterns, they prevent recurrence. Each reflection acts as purification, washing away residual emotion. From this clarity, new decisions emerge unburdened. The Stoic uses solitude to practice foresight. When alone, the mind projects scenarios and prepares responses. This rehearsal refines judgment. Clarity strengthens through premeditation. The Stoic who has visualized hardship meets it calmly when it arrives. Solitude becomes training for reality. Focus during solitude allows skill to mature. Mastery demands time without interruption. The Stoic understands that excellence grows through repetition unseen by the world. Each hour of silent practice compounds. Progress made in isolation becomes evident in public performance. The difference between the reactive and the refined is found in how they use solitude. Solitude also strengthens independence of thought. In constant company, ideas echo and conform. Alone, the Stoic tests each belief for truth. Weak opinions collapse. Strong ones endure. This filtering process refines worldview. The mind becomes clean of borrowed certainty. Independent thought is clarity in motion. The Stoic recognizes that solitude is the birthplace of innovation. When silence replaces imitation, originality appears. Without constant comparison, creativity surfaces naturally. The clear mind generates ideas that align with reason and purpose. Solitude thus becomes not only rest, but creation. When used correctly, solitude prevents burnout. The Stoic alternates exertion with isolation. Each period of solitude restores the nervous system and resets direction. Clarity is sustained by rhythm, engagement, withdrawal, reflection, return. Through this cycle, the mind never drifts too far into chaos or inertia. Solitude also cultivates patience. Without external stimulation, time stretches. The Stoic learns to inhabit time fully rather than escape it. This patience transfers to all aspects of life. When others panic at delay, the Stoic remains composed. The clear mind perceives that timing belongs to nature, not desire. Silence enhances perception. The Stoic begins to notice details once drowned by noise. the subtle tones of thought, the small truths of behavior. Observation deepens understanding. Clarity grows from attention, and attention thrives in quiet. Solitude trains awareness until perception becomes a refined instrument. The Stoic approaches solitude as a sacred interval. It is the space where external complexity dissolves and internal alignment returns. In that space, gratitude expands. Awareness of simplicity creates peace. The Stoic realizes that life's value is found in depth of experience, not volume of events. Through solitude, the Stoic recalibrates ambition. Without comparison, goals become purer. The desire to improve replaces the desire to compete. Progress becomes personal, not performative. Clarity returns as intention aligns with virtue. The self becomes project, not performance. The Stoic learns that solitude reveals dependency on comfort. When external entertainment disappears, one faces the raw structure of being. Strength grows from this exposure. The mind learns to generate contentment internally. Happiness, detached from circumstance, becomes a form of control. Focus cultivated in solitude extends into daily life. The Stoic carries the stillness of isolation into movement. Meetings, challenges, and decisions are approached with measured calm. Solitude trains response time. It slows the mind to the correct speed of truth. Each action becomes more deliberate. When one uses solitude to learn a new skill, the benefit multiplies. Skill acquisition anchors focus. The Stoic selects meaningful disciplines, writing, language, art, or craft, that develop precision and patience. Each new skill becomes a structure for thought. Clarity expands when effort has purpose. The Stoic learns that solitude magnifies both weakness and potential. Under isolation, habits surface clearly. Destructive ones lose justification. Constructive ones grow roots. This awareness transforms solitude into accountability. Each day alone becomes measurement, not escape. In solitude, gratitude grows naturally. Without comparison, every simple element of existence gains weight, light, breath, thought. Gratitude clears the emotional field. When appreciation replaces craving, peace stabilizes. The Stoic practices gratitude as alignment with reality. The disciplined mind uses solitude to master attention. Focused attention is clarity in its highest form. To hold a single problem, concept, or task without drift requires inner order. The Stoic refines this order through practice, eliminating mental interference until attention becomes effortless. Solitude transforms productivity into depth. Instead of doing more, the Stoic does better. Each effort carries full awareness, each outcome cleanly executed. The result is efficiency born of clarity. When the mind is clear, output multiplies in quality without strain. The Stoic understands that solitude is essential to moral clarity. Surrounded by noise, ethical vision dulls. Alone, principles regain definition. Right and wrong become visible again. The Stoic strengthens moral judgment by revisiting virtue in silence. Solitude is the mirror of conscience. Isolation teaches that peace is an internal skill. The Stoic trains to generate peace intentionally, regardless of environment. Once this ability matures, external solitude becomes optional. The clear mind carries its own silence into every setting. External stillness becomes internal discipline. Through solitude, the Stoic develops emotional autonomy. Dependence on approval or company fades. Confidence grows quietly, built on understanding rather than applause. The individual becomes whole without witnesses. This wholeness protects against manipulation and confusion. When solitude is practiced consistently, clarity becomes state rather than event. The mind no longer requires retreat to regain order. It maintains order naturally. Thoughts remain organized, emotions regulated, direction constant. The Stoic moves through life as one who is never alone, for their own company is sufficient. Solitude, when mastered, transforms from emptiness into presence. The Stoic becomes both observer and participant in life's movement. Clarity becomes permanent awareness, and stillness becomes motion directed by reason. From this state, every action becomes deliberate, every thought aligned, and every moment alive with purpose. Mastery begins where solitude matures into discipline. The Stoic, who has learned to endure silence without discomfort, begins to use it as an instrument of evolution. Focus becomes constant, no longer dependent on ideal conditions. The world still moves, but the inner axis remains still. Mastery is not acquired through talent or ambition, but through the repetition of clarity under isolation. When the mind can sustain depth without distraction, progress becomes exponential. In solitude, repetition reveals structure. The Stoic learns that skill is the refinement of precision through countless small corrections. Each repetition cleans the motion, thought, or process until it becomes seamless. This is mastery, the merging of conscious intent and unconscious execution. It is born from time spent alone, refining the smallest details that the untrained overlook. The Stoic does not chase mastery, they align with it. In silence, every distraction removed, focus converges. Work becomes ritual, thought becomes structure, and improvement becomes inevitable. Mastery grows quietly, without spectacle or declaration. Each session of focused solitude adds a layer to permanence. The result is not arrogance, but certainty grounded in experience. The permanence of solitude-trained focus lies in detachment from external validation. When progress is observed only by the self, the motive purifies. The Stoic measures advancement not by comparison, but by precision. The mind ceases to oscillate between approval and doubt. Stability replaces ambition. This stability forms the foundation upon which mastery rests. In solitude, the Stoic sees that mastery is less about control and more about surrender. The mind must yield to rhythm and repetition until thought no longer interferes. Control comes from trust in discipline. The Stoic acts as instrument, allowing trained instinct to guide execution. This surrender is clarity at its highest expression. Action without confusion. Every hour alone spent in refinement hardens focus. Distraction loses power through absence. The mind adapts to stillness as its natural state. In this condition, external noise becomes irrelevant. Whether in solitude or in the crowd, the Stoic remains internally undisturbed. Mastery becomes transportable clarity. The Stoic views solitude as a proving ground for endurance. Sustained focus demands stamina. The untrained tire of repetition. The disciplined thrive within it. Each completed cycle deepens control. Endurance transforms intensity into permanence. Focus ceases to be an act of will. It becomes identity. True mastery requires detachment from time. The Stoic learns to work without measuring hours. Progress is counted in refinement, not duration. When time loses importance, depth replaces haste. The clear mind no longer rushes, it remains steady. In that steadiness, quality compounds. Solitude also trains indifference to failure. Mistakes lose emotional weight when there is no audience. Each failure becomes data, each flaw an instruction. The Stoic corrects, adapts, continues. The repetition of this process builds resilience. Failure stops being personal. It becomes procedural. This neutrality accelerates progress. The Stoic's solitude-trained focus reshapes perception. While others see labor as burden, The disciplined see it as meditation. Work becomes an act of alignment. Each motion, each task reinforces order. The boundary between discipline and peace disappears. The mind no longer needs rest from its purpose. When mastery matures, it manifests as calm under pressure. The Stoics' training in solitude produces clarity that endures under scrutiny. Noise cannot invade because focus has become habit. The practiced mind functions automatically in complexity. Chaos becomes background. Clarity remains the constant. The permanence of mastery depends on humility. The Stoic understands that perfection is unreachable, yet pursuit refines endlessly. Mastery is asymptotic, approached, never attained. This truth prevents stagnation. Each day becomes another step on an infinite path. Humility sustains the movement. Ego would end it. Through solitude, mastery becomes ritualized. Each morning, reflection aligns intention. Each session of work reaffirms direction. Each review polishes understanding. Routine crystallizes clarity into permanence. The Stoics' schedule is not restraint. It is structure that frees energy from indecision. Solitude also reveals the mental architecture of mastery: concentration, repetition, reflection, correction. These four pillars form the unbreakable cycle of refinement. Each supports the other. None can stand alone. Concentration begins the process. Repetition deepens it. Reflection adjusts it. Correction completes it. Through endless return to this cycle, the Stoic evolves. Mastery requires the acceptance of isolation as companion. Great depth cannot be reached in constant company. The Stoic accepts solitude not as loneliness, but as alignment with purpose. Others may misunderstand the distance. The Stoic remains unmoved. The work itself becomes conversation, the process companionship. Solitude-trained focus also purifies intention. In absence of witnesses, only authentic effort remains. The Stoic learns to work without performance. Authenticity strengthens clarity because it removes distortion. Every action stems directly from reason, not recognition. Purity of motive accelerates growth. In mastery, attention becomes infinite. The Stoic learns to maintain total presence within the smallest motion. Whether sharpening a thought or refining a movement, focus saturates the moment. Each repetition becomes meditation. The task disappears. Only execution remains. This immersion is the signature of the master. The Stoic learns that mastery is not accumulation, but subtraction. To master something is to remove all that is unnecessary. Each refinement cuts away waste. In solitude, the mind sees what can be eliminated. What remains after removal is essence, efficient, clean, and powerful. The process of mastery is the process of simplification. The permanence of solitude-trained focus is tested in chaos. The Stoic, who can reproduce clarity amid disruption, has completed the cycle. True mastery is portable. It functions everywhere. The trained mind does not rely on silence to stay calm. Solitude built the foundation. Life tests its strength. Mastery demands patience beyond comfort. The Stoic understands that transformation requires thousands of unseen hours. Each unnoticed improvement forms invisible infrastructure. The impatient seek recognition. The Stoic seeks precision. Patience protects focus from decay. Solitude also teaches proportion. The Stoic measures progress against self, not others. Comparison corrupts clarity. Each benchmark is internal, each improvement self-referential. This independence prevents distraction. The clear mind evolves quietly, immune to external rhythm. Mastery deepens when process becomes identity. The Stoic no longer distinguishes between training and living. Each breath, action, and decision serves refinement. Work ceases to be an obligation. It becomes the natural state of existence. The disciplined person carries mastery into every interaction. When solitude is practiced long enough, the mind achieves seamless focus. Distractions still occur, but recovery is instant. The Stoic no longer fears interruption because clarity has become reflex. This permanence turns attention into strength that cannot be taken away. Focus is now self-regenerating. Mastery also transforms perception of difficulty. Challenges appear smaller, complexity more manageable. The Stoic sees through the surface of problems to their structure. This ability comes from repetition in isolation, where thought learns to penetrate noise. The clear mind reduces confusion into pattern. The Stoic learns that mastery without virtue is emptiness. Technical excellence must serve moral clarity. Skill magnifies intention. Therefore, intention must remain pure. The disciplined person aligns mastery with principle. Each improvement of ability is matched by refinement of character. Through this unity, permanence becomes integrity. The solitude-trained focus sustains creativity. Within silence, the mind has space to form new connections. Mastery produces not only precision, but invention. When clarity and repetition meet imagination, innovation emerges. The Stoic creates solutions that appear simple because they are true. The master's calm is not absence of tension, but perfect control of it. The Stoic learns to hold intensity without losing equilibrium. Pressure becomes energy directed by will. This composure originates in the silence of training. Every moment of stillness strengthens the frame for future storms. Mastery matures into timelessness. The Stoic no longer rushes through life. They inhabit it fully. Each act carries weight because attention is total. The present becomes the only reality. In this state, the past cannot burden, and the future cannot disturb. Clarity becomes permanence through complete presence. The solitude-trained focus also refines decision-making. The Stoic sees through impulse and illusion with clean reasoning. Choices become sharp, stripped of hesitation. The trained mind wastes no motion. Each decision aligns with long-term direction, creating compound order. Life simplifies as focus strengthens. In mastery, silence becomes communication. The Stoic's actions speak with more authority than argument. Each gesture conveys control and confidence. Presence replaces persuasion. People sense discipline without words. This is influence born of clarity. As mastery solidifies, the Stoic ceases to distinguish between isolation and engagement. Every situation becomes practice. Clarity persists through all environments. The trained mind sees all activity as an extension of solitude. This continuity is the mark of permanence. The Stoic's solitude-trained mastery ultimately dissolves the need for solitude. The inner silence becomes permanent state. Even amidst motion, the mind remains clear. The boundary between solitude and society vanishes. Focus has become self-sustaining clarity, independent of place or time. Mastery ends where simplicity begins. The Stoic who has trained in silence no longer seeks complexity. Every act is done with economy and precision. Nothing is wasted. The mind functions like nature itself, direct, efficient, ordered. The reward of solitude is not isolation, but internal harmony that endures all noise. The permanence of this focus transforms the individual into a quiet force. Actions become deliberate, words rare, presence undeniable. Others feel the calm, the confidence, the steadiness. This influence is not projected, it emanates naturally. The Stoic has achieved mastery not over skill alone, but over self. Mastery through solitude-trained focus is the ultimate expression of freedom. The disciplined mind no longer depends on environment, praise, or circumstance. Clarity has become state. Permanence has become identity. The Stoic walks through life as through clear water, unmoved, unconfused, and complete. Clarity in decision-making begins with separation from emotion. The Stoic understands that feeling clouds perception, and perception guides choice. Every decision begins with seeing the situation as it is, without distortion. The disciplined mind observes before it acts. In this pause, clarity gathers. The untrained rush to decide. The Stoic refines judgment through silence. Decision-making is the art of removing confusion. Each choice becomes easier when principle, reason, and truth are the only variables. The Stoic simplifies by asking, what aligns with virtue? What serves the long term? What preserves inner peace? When these questions replace impulse, clarity forms structure. Action becomes a clean extension of thought. The Stoic does not seek perfect knowledge. They act with what is known and prepare for correction. Clarity is not certainty, it is proportion. To decide clearly is to accept limits and move within them. Overthinking freezes movement. The disciplined mind balances logic with motion. The correct decision is the one made with reason and maintained with integrity. The Stoic removes urgency from decision-making. Pressure distorts judgment. Stillness restores it. When the mind slows, the essentials of a problem reveal themselves. The Stoic practices delay not to hesitate, but to clarify. A single breath of composure has saved more decisions than 1,000 rushed conclusions. Calm is tactical. Each decision reveals the architecture of character. The Stoic understands that decision-making is moral training. Every choice either strengthens or weakens the internal order. When clarity guides choice, character fortifies itself through repetition. The disciplined mind builds reliability, acting the same in private and public, with or without recognition. The Stoic learns that emotion is information, not instruction. Anger, fear, excitement, all contain data about attachment or perception. The clear mind listens to emotion as signal, then filters it through reason. To be emotionally aware, but not governed by emotion, is to hold power over self. This control forms the foundation of emotional resilience. Emotional resilience begins when one stops resisting feeling. The Stoic observes emotion without identity. Sadness, frustration, or anxiety pass through awareness without ownership. Each emotion is an event, not a definition. By witnessing instead of merging, the Stoic keeps perception clean. Resilience grows from detachment, not denial. The Stoic trains to separate external events from internal reaction. The world moves on its own axis. The mind chooses response. Clarity is the discipline of choosing wisely. When insulted, the Stoic evaluates the claim before reacting. When faced with fear, they assess its cause before surrendering. Each evaluation preserves control. Emotional resilience is deliberate understanding under stress. Decision-making under pressure tests emotional strength. The Stoic keeps a hierarchy: principles first, consequences second, opinions last. This structure prevents panic from becoming leader. The disciplined mind functions like an ordered city under siege, calm, efficient, aware. Clarity remains unbroken because reason occupies the throne. To achieve this level of composure, the Stoic cultivates detachment from outcomes. Anxiety arises from fixation on what cannot be controlled. The Stoic focuses only on execution. Each decision is complete once the action aligns with principle. The result belongs to fate, not worry. This understanding preserves emotional balance. The Stoic does not seek comfort in decisions, they seek alignment. Comfort often disguises weakness. Alignment ensures endurance. A clear mind prefers difficulty that refines character over ease that corrodes it. Each disciplined choice strengthens the structure of future clarity. The Stoic learns that endurance is the byproduct of correct decisions. Clarity under emotional strain requires self-observation. The Stoic watches inner movement as if it belonged to another. Each rise of anger or fear becomes a lesson in attachment. By observing, the Stoic creates distance. By distance, they regain control. Observation is the origin of mastery. The Stoic also practices premeditation of adversity. By imagining loss, insult, or failure, the mind prepares itself to remain steady. When these events arrive, the emotional shock is smaller. Clarity remains intact. This training builds resilience that looks effortless because it has been rehearsed. Decision-making requires restraint from impulsive communication. Words spoken in emotion create chaos. The Stoic guards speech as gatekeeper of thought. Silence becomes an ally of clarity. By withholding reaction, the mind gathers precision. What is said later carries weight because it was filtered through stillness. Emotional resilience matures through acceptance. The Stoic accepts pain as part of existence. Refusal intensifies suffering. Acceptance transforms it into information. Pain clarifies priorities and reveals attachment. Through acceptance, the Stoic converts difficulty into discipline. Clarity grows wherever resistance dissolves. To decide clearly, one must stand apart from collective emotion. The crowd amplifies fear and excitement. The Stoic does not borrow confidence or panic from others. They remain guided by personal principle, regardless of noise. Independence is the guardian of clarity. To think clearly is to stand alone in judgment. The Stoic measures emotion by utility. Does this feeling improve judgment or obscure it? This question filters reaction. Fear warns but cannot lead. Anger energizes but cannot decide. Each emotion must serve reason or be dismissed. Through this discipline, the Stoic converts energy into strategy. Clarity in decision-making depends on mental simplicity. The Stoic reduces problems to their smallest components. Every decision consists of cause, effect, and control. What is under control is acted upon. What is beyond control is accepted. Complexity disappears when this framework is applied consistently. The mind remains free to act. The Stoic practices emotional economy. Just as time and energy are finite, so is emotional investment. Every unnecessary reaction drains clarity. The disciplined person spends emotion like currency, only where it produces return. This conservation of feeling maintains endurance. Decision-making becomes mastery when guided by reason and executed with calm. The Stoic recognizes that clear thinking is a moral act. Confusion harms self and others. Clarity protects both. Each clear decision sets order into motion, both internally and externally. The disciplined mind becomes architect of peace. Resilience deepens through understanding impermanence. The Stoic reflects that all things pass: pain, joy, success, failure. When permanence is not expected, disappointment cannot dominate. Emotional balance stabilizes. The Stoic remains grounded as life oscillates, anchored in perspective rather than reaction. The clear mind respects limits of emotion. Fatigue distorts reasoning, exhaustion clouds perception. The Stoic maintains physical and mental restoration to preserve clarity. Rest is not indulgence, but strategic maintenance. Strength requires equilibrium. The Stoic learns that emotional resilience is not numbness. it is sensitivity guided by structure. The resilient feel deeply, but respond wisely. Emotion and reason coexist without conflict. Clarity transforms sensitivity into accuracy. When faced with moral dilemmas, clarity becomes the compass. The Stoic chooses based on principle, even when emotion argues otherwise. Each principled decision cleans the mind of contradiction. Integrity is emotional order. Hypocrisy breeds inner noise. Resilient clarity depends on humility. The Stoic accepts mistakes without self-condemnation. To learn quickly is to recover quickly. Guilt wastes energy. Correction restores it. Self-forgiveness is not indulgence, it is alignment with truth. The mind that learns remains light. Under repeated stress, the Stoic applies focus as medicine. By narrowing attention to what can be done, panic dissolves. The wider the view of chaos, the greater the confusion. The Stoic shrinks perspective until only the next action remains visible. Simplicity restores calm. Decision-making improves through record and reflection. The Stoic writes choices, reasons, and outcomes. This documentation exposes bias and strengthens logic. Each review refines instinct. Reflection turns experience into instruction, transforming reaction into prediction. Resilience is strengthened through exposure, not avoidance. The Stoic deliberately faces discomfort to train the nervous system. Each controlled trial builds tolerance. Repeated endurance under mild stress inoculates the mind against shock. The Stoic grows stronger by choosing friction. Clarity in decision-making thrives on consistency. The Stoic develops patterns of response based on principle. Repetition ingrains reliability. When crisis strikes, the mind does not improvise, it executes discipline. Predictable behavior under chaos is the mark of composure. The Stoic distinguishes between urgency and importance. Urgency is emotional, importance is rational. The clear mind attends to the latter. This discernment eliminates the tyranny of reaction. Every decision is ranked by principle, not impulse. Order replaces confusion. Resilience matures into serenity when self-control becomes instinct. The Stoic no longer resists emotion, they shape it. Each wave of feeling is directed toward understanding. The result is steadiness, visible to others yet effortless within. The trained mind remains balanced amid turbulence. Clarity under emotional weight requires awareness of perspective. The Stoic zooms out from immediate pain to see the larger frame. What seems heavy now may be light tomorrow. This temporal distance weakens emotional distortion. Perspective is emotional control through vision. The Stoic uses logic as refuge. When emotion threatens reason, they retreat into analysis. Logic offers structure where feeling offers fluctuation. By rebuilding understanding through rational sequence, the mind stabilizes itself. Clarity is restored through order. Decision-making requires courage to face truth. The Stoic does not soften reality to preserve comfort. They prefer hard clarity to soft illusion. This courage keeps judgment aligned with fact. Avoidance multiplies confusion. Confrontation dissolves it. Emotional resilience is sustained through gratitude. Recognition of stability, breath, and existence shifts attention from loss to possession. Gratitude interrupts despair. It is clarity in emotional form, a recalibration toward reality's abundance. The Stoic cultivates awareness of influence. People and environments shape thought. To preserve clarity, the Stoic selects associations with precision. Exposure to chaos breeds confusion. Proximity to order strengthens reason. This vigilance keeps emotional balance uncompromised. Resilient clarity manifests as quiet decisiveness. The Stoic no longer debates endlessly. Once principle and fact align, the decision is made. Hesitation disappears because values have already chosen. This efficiency conserves energy for execution. In moments of great conflict, clarity is maintained by detachment from identity. The Stoic reminds themselves that they are reasoning beings, not their titles or emotions. This separation allows objective choice. Identity narrowed to reason cannot be manipulated by fear or pride. The mature Stoic experiences emotion as weather, transient, uncontrollable, but predictable. Preparation replaces resistance. Clarity comes from adjusting sails, not denying the wind. Emotional resilience is adaptability without surrender. When emotion becomes intense, the Stoic applies structure: breathe, observe, analyze, act. This sequence becomes second nature through repetition. Each step moves feeling into order. Emotional storms lose power against process. The disciplined mind uses every decision as training for the next. Small choices compound into large outcomes. Each moment of clarity refines instinct. Eventually, clarity becomes reflex. Decision and composure merge. Clarity in decision-making and emotional resilience are twin disciplines. One governs thought, the other governs feeling. Together, they form judgment that endures chaos. The Stoic who cultivates both stands unmoved before conflict, balanced between intellect and emotion, directed entirely by reason and strength. Clarity transforms perception into power. When the mind is clear, life reveals patterns that confusion once hid. The Stoic understands that reality is full of opportunity, yet most fail to see it because emotion and noise distort the view. A disciplined mind perceives pathways where others see obstacles. Clarity becomes illumination. It shows direction without effort, revealing solutions that chaos conceals. Motivation drawn from clarity is sustainable because it does not depend on excitement. It arises from understanding. The Stoic does not chase stimulation, they see purpose as energy. When one truly understands what must be done and why, action follows naturally. Confusion drains energy, clarity multiplies it. To know is to move forward without resistance. Clarity dismantles pessimism. The pessimistic view is born from partial vision, seeing only the negative angles of possibility. The Stoic trains perception to remain whole. Every event carries potential gain if the mind is stable enough to see it. Opportunity is rarely absent. It is often hidden beneath reaction. Clarity removes reaction and reveals function. The Stoic learns that clarity is the highest form of motivation because it removes internal conflict. Doubt, hesitation, and fear vanish when reason leads. Each decision becomes movement. Each movement reinforces confidence. Motivation ceases to depend on mood. It becomes mechanical, reliable, constant, like breathing under discipline. Gratitude strengthens this clarity. When the Stoic looks upon existence with appreciation, scarcity loses influence. Gratitude removes comparison, envy, and despair, all enemies of motivation. Through gratitude, perception expands. One sees the abundance in the present moment. This expansion of awareness exposes resources that pessimism ignores. The mind clouded by resentment sees only limitation. The Stoic clears resentment through understanding that life owes nothing. Every challenge becomes privilege once perceived through gratitude. What others call burden, the Stoic calls training. Clarity reframes hardship into potential. This shift transforms adversity into strength. Gratitude and clarity are linked through attention. To be grateful is to focus on what is real, not what is missing. The Stoic cultivates this focus through daily reflection. By naming what is stable and good, the mind resists distortion. Clarity expands in proportion to gratitude. The clear mind sees abundance where confusion saw lack. Motivation derived from clarity is rooted in simplicity. The Stoic identifies a singular aim, virtue, and directs all effort toward it. When purpose is singular, energy does not scatter. The clarity of purpose fuels motion long after emotion fades. Each action becomes an affirmation of identity. Inspiration emerges naturally when clarity sharpens perception. The Stoic sees beauty in order, discipline, and persistence. Every small success confirms the logic of effort. Inspiration no longer depends on external events. It is generated internally through alignment with truth. The more ordered the mind, the more radiant its vision. Clarity transforms obstacles into opportunities for refinement. The Stoic views difficulty as instruction. Where confusion sees blockage, clarity sees blueprint. The disciplined mind extracts use from everything. Every failure becomes data, every setback training. Nothing is wasted when the mind is clear. The Stoic learns to look beyond appearances. A clear mind pierces illusion, seeing advantage within chaos. When others retreat under fear, clarity advances with precision. The world favors those who act without confusion. Opportunity often hides inside difficulty, waiting for the calm observer. Gratitude also preserves endurance. When one appreciates the process itself, effort becomes reward. The Stoic feels satisfaction in progress, not in outcome. This contentment removes desperation. Desperation blurs focus. Gratitude refines it. The calm worker outlasts the frantic competitor. Clarity restores enthusiasm by eliminating internal contradiction. The mind that knows what it wants and why it wants it acts with joy. Each task becomes meaningful, regardless of scale. This is true motivation, not the surge of inspiration, but the stability of direction. The Stoic's enthusiasm is quiet and unwavering. The pessimistic view thrives in disorder. It grows where uncertainty feeds fear. The Stoic neutralizes both through structure. Daily discipline creates a sense of control. Each completed task reinforces agency. Clarity replaces doubt with sequence, showing that small, ordered actions dissolve even the largest obstacles. When clarity dominates, perception becomes strategic. The Stoic begins to see connections across domains, how principles apply universally. This comprehension expands opportunity. A clear mind links ideas others never associate. Innovation arises not from chaos, but from order deep enough to perceive hidden symmetry. Gratitude sharpens this creative perception. When the mind is content, it explores freely. Fear and envy constrict imagination. Gratitude expands it. The Stoic's appreciation of existence opens mental space for new ideas. Clarity and gratitude together create vision, an ability to see both what is and what could be. Clarity turns pessimism into preparation. Where the fearful anticipate failure, the Stoic anticipates challenge. Anticipation allows readiness. Readiness removes surprise. Surprise is the root of panic. By converting expectation into training, the Stoic transforms anxiety into calm motivation. The mind remains poised for opportunity even under strain. The clear mind recognizes patterns of chance and repetition. While others see random outcomes, the Stoic discerns cause and effect. This discernment is advantage. Opportunities appear to the trained eye because structure is visible where chaos once was. Luck becomes recognition accelerated by clarity. Gratitude deepens emotional resilience. The Stoic reflects that existence itself is privilege, breath, consciousness, capacity. This awareness neutralizes complaint. When complaint ceases, energy redirects toward creation. A grateful mind produces, a bitter mind consumes. Clarity transforms gratitude into momentum. Clarity also breeds confidence, not the arrogance of certainty, but the quiet confidence of understanding. The Stoic does not predict success, they prepare for it. Each clear thought translates into decisive movement. Confidence is clarity expressed through consistent execution. Pessimism thrives on memory of failure. The Stoic reframes those memories as lessons rather than verdicts. Each error contributes to wisdom. The clear mind reviews the past for instruction, not identity. Growth replaces guilt, direction replaces regret. Motivation multiplies through vision. The Stoic sets the mind toward improvement that benefits self and others. Service intensifies clarity because it removes self-centered distortion. When effort serves principle, fatigue lessens. The energy of purpose surpasses the energy of ambition. Gratitude cultivates serenity within pursuit. The Stoic can desire improvement without discontent. To be driven and peaceful simultaneously is a rare balance achieved through clarity. The mind sees the worth of effort without resenting the distance left to travel. Progress becomes harmony. The clear mind remains objective amid success. The Stoic guards against intoxication by achievement. Clarity reminds that all victories are temporary, all positions transient. Gratitude stabilizes success by framing it as fortune, not entitlement. From this stability, one remains prepared for the next challenge. Clarity turns reflection into fuel. Each period of review strengthens motivation by showing proof of progress. The Stoic observes advancement not with vanity, but with acknowledgement of discipline. This acknowledgement builds quiet momentum. Each improvement reaffirms purpose. Motivation built on clarity cannot be stolen. Praise, failure, or comparison cannot alter it. It belongs to reason, not reaction. The Stoic carries this self-generated drive into every environment. Others fade when applause fades. The disciplined remain in motion. Opportunity appears in proportion to readiness. The Stoic's consistent focus sharpens readiness. When clarity guides preparation, timing aligns with chance. What seems luck to others is pattern recognition perfected by order. The mind prepared to act sees openings the distracted overlook. Gratitude converts monotony into meaning. The Stoic sees value in repetition because repetition refines mastery. Each ordinary day becomes sacred when viewed through appreciation. Routine becomes the soil of greatness. Clarity recognizes that consistency, not excitement, builds transformation. The pessimistic see limitation where the Stoic sees design. Every obstacle has a structure to be studied. Once understood, it becomes navigable. Clarity transforms reaction into analysis. What once triggered emotion now triggers problem-solving. This composure multiplies opportunity. Inspiration grows naturally in the clear mind. It does not require novelty. It thrives in order. The Stoic finds beauty in process, dignity in persistence, peace in precision. Each act performed with awareness ignites quiet passion. Clarity turns duty into art. Gratitude elevates endurance. The Stoic who is thankful for struggle gains strength from it. Difficulty becomes proof of capacity. Each challenge survived confirms resilience. The grateful view converts burden into pride, turning hardship into a source of motivation. Clarity also reveals alignment between thought and world. The Stoic recognizes that opportunity often mirrors inner order. When the mind is prepared, the external aligns with it. The world reflects mental structure. Disorder attracts confusion. Clarity attracts direction. Motivation sustained by clarity does not fluctuate with emotion. It persists through fatigue because it is rooted in comprehension. The Stoic knows why they act. That knowledge remains when enthusiasm fades. Each step continues because direction is known. The mind purified by gratitude cannot remain stagnant. Appreciation leads to stewardship, the desire to improve what is given. The Stoic feels responsibility toward potential. Gratitude becomes drive to honor opportunity. Each moment becomes a chance to refine existence itself. Clarity, motivation, and gratitude converge into vision. The Stoic sees life not as burden but as field of potential. Every situation holds seeds of progress. The task is simply to notice, to act, and to sustain. Clarity reveals those seeds. Gratitude nurtures them. Discipline brings them to harvest. Clarity is the foundation of all strength. It does not shout, persuade, or perform. It simply removes distortion until truth stands clean. The Stoic reaches this state not through retreat, but through alignment. Each practice, silence, solitude, discipline, reflection, polishes perception. When the mind becomes transparent to itself, all confusion ends. What remains is direction without friction, peace without passivity, and movement without hesitation. The mind that has achieved clarity no longer wastes energy on conflict within. Decisions arise naturally, emotion follows reason, and action flows without resistance. This state is not perfection, but precision. Each thought has a place, each impulse is evaluated. The Stoic acts not from habit, but from comprehension. Life becomes deliberate motion guided by understanding. Clarity becomes identity when it persists through all seasons of life. The Stoic does not shift with mood, praise, or hardship. Their mind remains steady because its anchor lies within, not in the world's approval. A person who lives with inner clarity becomes predictable only to themselves. Their consistency is their authority. Each reaction, each decision, each silence comes from a unified core. The mature Stoic understands that clarity is the highest form of freedom. Confusion is slavery to impulse and opinion. To see truth clearly is to move unrestrained by illusion. Freedom, then, is not the absence of restraint, but the mastery of perception. The clearer the mind, the fewer chains it feels. This clarity cannot be gifted. It must be earned through repetition and honesty. In this disciplined state, the Stoic sees that power begins in order. A scattered mind cannot command its environment. When inner order is achieved, external control follows naturally. Authority over circumstance begins with authority over interpretation. The Stoic governs thoughts as one governs a city. Each allowed its purpose, none allowed rebellion. This is how clarity becomes leadership. Clarity refines ambition into purpose. The mind, once driven by comparison or vanity, begins to seek only alignment with principle. This transformation creates calm intensity. The Stoic moves with quiet purpose, undistracted by competition. Their progress is steady because their motive is pure. From this posture, achievement becomes consequence, not obsession. Clarity reveals that most suffering is self-created. Expectation, attachment, and illusion build tension that reality simply fulfills. The Stoic dissolves these illusions by observing their source. When false desires fade, life simplifies. The absence of unnecessary desire is not emptiness, it is freedom. A clear mind desires only what reason approves. As the mind clears, gratitude deepens. The Stoic sees beauty not as decoration, but as evidence of order. Each breath becomes sufficient. Each challenge becomes opportunity. Gratitude in this state is not a mood, it is a philosophy. To be grateful is to acknowledge that existence itself is enough. From that foundation, nothing can impoverish the spirit. Clarity also sharpens empathy. When perception is clean, one understands others without judgment. The Stoic sees that all people struggle against confusion. This recognition softens pride and strengthens compassion. Clarity breeds patience because it understands the process of awakening. The disciplined mind helps others not from superiority, but from stability. The clear mind no longer reacts to the chaos of the world. News, rumor, and distraction lose their power. The Stoic engages only where action is meaningful. This selectivity preserves energy and focus. The world may remain noisy, but it no longer penetrates the disciplined mind. Silence becomes a permanent layer beneath sound. Clarity also enhances courage. Fear thrives in uncertainty. Clarity dissolves it. When the mind sees clearly, it distinguishes danger from discomfort. The Stoic acts not recklessly but decisively. Risk becomes calculation, and courage becomes precision. The fearless are not those without fear, but those whose clarity is greater than fear's confusion. In relationships, clarity creates depth. The Stoic communicates without manipulation or performance. Words serve understanding, not validation. The absence of emotional games creates space for sincerity. Clarity becomes intimacy, a connection grounded in truth, not illusion. The Stoic learns that clarity brings peace, even in loss. Grief, anger, and disappointment become experiences to be understood rather than enemies to be fought. Acceptance grows naturally from comprehension. When one sees the nature of change clearly, resistance fades. Peace is not achieved by avoidance, but by perspective. Clarity in thought becomes clarity in action. The disciplined mind does not require constant planning, it operates on principle. Each movement arises from structure. Each decision echoes prior discipline. The Stoic trusts their preparation. Confidence becomes quiet, certainty built upon accumulated clarity. The clear mind does not chase perfection, it refines process. Progress becomes internal, measured not by comparison but by integrity. This focus on process transforms life into continuous training. Each moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes a chance to practice composure. The Stoic's peace grows with every repetition. When clarity reaches maturity, emotion becomes ally. The Stoic feels deeply, yet responds deliberately. Joy and pain no longer control direction, they inform understanding. Balance replaces suppression. Emotion, once chaotic, becomes fuel for precision. This harmony of feeling and reason defines the enlightened mind. Clarity also redefines success. The Stoic stops chasing external milestones and begins cultivating internal excellence. Success is now measured by the alignment between action and virtue. Fortune may fluctuate, but clarity guarantees dignity. The Stoic's worth no longer depends on circumstance, it resides in order itself. As clarity strengthens, simplicity follows. The Stoic eliminates excess, objects, opinions, conversations that cloud perception. Simplicity amplifies focus. A simple life is not a lesser one, it is concentrated. Through reduction, clarity gains power. The fewer the distractions, the greater the depth. Clarity teaches the art of pause. The Stoic masters timing, knowing when inaction serves more than reaction. This control of tempo separates the impulsive from the wise. Stillness becomes tactical. The person who can wait sees further than the one who rushes. The clear mind finds fulfillment in contribution. The Stoic recognizes that knowledge unused decays. To act with clarity is to serve. Service anchored in understanding uplifts both giver and receiver. Purpose becomes the natural extension of wisdom. Clarity converts solitude into strength. When alone, the Stoics' thoughts become companions. Reflection becomes nourishment. The absence of distraction turns into presence of insight. Solitude, once feared, becomes the environment of mastery. Clarity refines resilience. The Stoic no longer views hardship as interruption, but as continuation of training. Each challenge tests the structure of understanding. Failure cannot destroy clarity. It only reveals what requires reinforcement. The mind becomes unbreakable because it no longer expects ease. Clarity elevates perception of time. The Stoic stops living in fragments, past, future, speculation. Awareness centers fully in the present. This concentration multiplies life's richness. Time slows, yet depth increases. The clear mind experiences more by demanding less. When clarity governs existence, purpose aligns with peace. The Stoic no longer oscillates between desire and doubt. Action arises naturally, without inner debate. Life feels organized, not because it is easy, but because it is understood. This is the ultimate benefit of discipline, comprehension of reality as it is. The disciplined mind also achieves aesthetic clarity. The Stoic appreciates elegance in structure, precision in language, and purity in behavior. Every movement reflects inner order. Beauty becomes efficiency, the perfect alignment of form and function. Clarity sustains humility. The Stoic recognizes that even the clearest perception has limits. Awareness of ignorance preserves curiosity. Arrogance collapses insight. Humility expands it. The wise remain students of clarity, refining perception endlessly. Clarity transforms response to uncertainty. The Stoic no longer seeks control of outcomes, but control of readiness. Preparation replaces prediction. This mindset turns uncertainty from threat into opportunity. The unknown becomes a landscape for application of discipline. As clarity matures, it integrates all opposites: emotion and reason, solitude and society, ambition and acceptance. The Stoic ceases to divide life into categories. All experiences become material for refinement. This unity of experience marks the completion of understanding. Clarity creates presence that influences without effort. Others sense steadiness before words are spoken. Authority radiates from self-possession. The Stoic leads not by command, but by example. Clarity becomes silent guidance. Its impact is undeniable. The mind anchored in clarity no longer resists change. It adapts instantly because its core remains unshaken. Change becomes motion within permanence. The Stoic flows through life as water through form, flexible, unstoppable, and clean. Gratitude deepens once again at this stage. The Stoic sees every experience as material for strength. Even adversity becomes a kind of gift, a teacher disguised as difficulty. Gratitude is clarity expressed emotionally. It is the feeling of understanding made visible. Clarity reveals that true motivation is peace. The drive to improve, create, and endure all originate from calm comprehension. When the mind is free of distortion, the will acts without tension. Productivity becomes serenity in motion. The culmination of clarity is balance between doing and being, thought and silence, ambition and rest. The Stoic embodies motion with purpose and stillness with awareness. Nothing feels rushed. Nothing feels wasted. Each moment completes itself. Clarity is the invisible armor that no circumstance can penetrate. It shields not by resistance, but by transparency. The disciplined person walks through life untouched by chaos because their perception admits only what can be used. Everything else passes through. The mind has become pure function. The Stoic finally realizes that clarity is not an achievement, but a return. Beneath confusion, it was always there. Discipline only uncovered it. The mind becomes mirror, reflecting reality as it is, steady and calm. The person of clarity no longer seeks control of life. They participate in it perfectly, with precision, gratitude, and peace.